Bundesliga club Schalke 04 has declared that they would be terminating their association with Russian state-owned sponsor Gazprom, effective immediately. But why are they doing it? What will be the implications of that decision? Well, hey, you're in the right place to get all your answers, but you knew that when you clicked on the video. So anyways, in today's video, speaking of, we've come up with why UEFA and Schalke 04 break due to war with Russian sponsor Gazprom. So let's dive right into it. When it comes in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which was carried out on the instructions of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Gazprom has a Russian energy firm with a majority controlled by the Russian government, and they're a key sponsor of the Champions League. Key to the relationship between Schalke and Gazprom has been the Nord Stream 2 CEO Matthias Warnig, a former officer in East Germany's notorious Stasi street secret police and a known ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Warnig resigned from his role as a member of the Schalke board of directors on Thursday. Prior to their 1-1 tie with Karlsruhe on Saturday, Schalke has already made the decision to remove Gazprom's name off their uniforms, as previously reported. The primary sponsor's logo was simply swapped with the name of the German team, and the match was finished. By issuing a statement, Schalke has confirmed that they ended their collaboration with Gazprom completely. Matthias Warnig, the CEO of Nord Stream 2, has resigned from his seat on the Schalke board of directors, and in doing so, they brought an end to a collaboration that had begun back in 2007. The club issued on the following statement: "The board of directors of FC Schalke 04, with the permission of the supervisory board, has decided to terminate the collaboration between SO4 and Gazprom before the conclusion of the season. In discussions with the current principal sponsor representatives, the executive board and the supervisory board had reached an agreement, and more information will be released in due time." The United States has sanctioned Warnig and Nord Stream 2, a subsidiary of Gazprom, as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Schalke has terminated their agreement with Gazprom, which began in 2007 and lasted until today. The Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, worth $11 billion, would stretch from near St. Petersburg to Germany under the Baltic Sea, bypassing existing gas pipeline routes through Ukraine. And this is expected to quadruple more than the amount of natural gas sent to Germany by Russia. However, as a result of the onset of the conflict in Ukraine, the start of its operations has been put on hold. The pipeline has been waiting clearance from the German government, which has now halted the decision in accordance with international sanctions against Nord Stream 2 and its own owner, German steelmaker Warnig. The Bundesliga's top level, the Bundesliga, was demoted to the second division, the 2 Bundesliga, the previous season. However, Schalke remains one of Germany's most well-supported teams, with a 62,000 capacity stadium in Glenzkirchen and a highly populated rural area in the company's northwest. Delegations from Ukraine and Russia are scheduled to meet for discussions on Monday. However, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated that he believes there's little chance of any real dialogue taking place here. Zelensky said that the following 24 hours would be a crucial moment in the extraordinary General Assembly meeting of the United Nations on the situation in Syria. Meanwhile, Ukraine's capital, Kiev, is surviving another night under a Russian attack, with Vladimir Putin's demoralized and exhausted troops suffering heavy losses while attempting to fail and break through the defenses of the city's outskirts, according to the country's top military commander. Commander of the city's defenses, Colonel General Alexander Syrski, declared on Monday morning that all attempts to penetrate the city had failed, and everything was now under control. "We demonstrated that we are capable of protecting our house from unauthorized intruders," he continued. During Schalke's encounter against Gazprom on Sunday, the club's name was pasted over the company's emblem. During the game in Karlsruhe, a Schalke supporter carries a placard in support of peace of Ukraine. Attacks on Kiev were unsuccessful despite the fact that the city was heavily bombarded, with witnesses describing the sound of carpet bombing. When the curfew had been in effect since 3 p.m. Saturday and was lifted at 6 a.m. on Monday, residents were able to go out and buy food and grab some fresh air. But air raid sirens were activated immediately after. In the early hours of the morning, Russia issued an invitation to all Ukrainian nationals to evacuate the city through a safe roadway, causing concern that the bombing might be about to intensify substantially. A similar technique was used by Moscow in Syria when it fought Assad's forces, generally prior to shelling and bombing cities that resulted in a large number of deaths. As a result, despite the fact that advanced Russian forces have been fighting on the outskirts of Kiev for several days, the majority of Putin's assault force is still some 20 miles away, having been slowed by determined resistance fighters. Satellite images reveal that a large column of vehicles is on its way to the city. President Volodymyr Zelensky, speaking on Monday morning, called for Ukraine to be immediately admitted to the EU, following the alliance's decision to provide Ukraine with hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid, a first in the bloc's history, claiming that his country had earned that right. He also stated that Russia's strike had it resulted in the deaths of 15 children and the injuries of dozens more. Michelle Bachelet, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, says her office has confirmed the deaths of 102 civilians, including several children, and the injuries of 304 others in violence in Ukraine since Thursday. But she warns that this figure is likely to be significantly underestimated. In a statement, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov condemned EU intentions to arm Ukraine, calling them a hostile move towards Russia. This included the prospect that MiG or Sukhoi fighter planes from member nations may be deployed to Ukraine to replace the country's air force, Peskov said. So all in all, Russia's recent invasion of Ukraine has prompted Schalke and UEFA to end their collaboration with Gazprom completely. We may also see some more developments for this in the coming days, so like a faithful news reporter, well, I'm the YouTube commentator turned news reporter, I will bring you that. I thank you guys for watching. Later.